Hello and welcome everybody. In this video we'll show you why you procrastinate so often. You can probably remember a time when you set out to complete an important task. Today was going to be the day to get it done, only to find yourself then browsing the internet, watching that Netflix show or catching up with an old friend. And then, after the list of miscellaneous jobs has been completed, it is already time to go to bed. So the task will need to be put off until tomorrow again. So why we procrastinate and how we can stop procrastination forever. Keep watching the whole video and don't skip any of these important parts. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive all our news. Procrastination is a reason of 1. Having not a clear goal. People are more likely to procrastinate when their goals are vague or abstract, compared to when their goals are concrete and clearly defined. For example, goals such as get fit or start exercising are relatively vague and are therefore likely to lead to procrastination. Conversely, a goal such as go to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right after work and spend at least 30 minutes on the treadmill running at high speed is concrete and is therefore much more likely to lead you to take action. Furthermore, note that in addition to a lack of a clear definition, there are other factors that can make a goal feel abstract. For example, according to considerable level theory, goals that are perceived as highly improbable are also perceived as relatively abstract. This means that if a person finds it unlikely that they will attain a certain goal, this can cause them to view that goal as abstract, which in turn can increase the likelihood that they will procrastinate on it. 2. Rewards that are far in the future. People often procrastinate on tasks which are associated with rewards that they will only receive a while after completing the task, since people tend to discount the value of rewards that are far in the future, a phenomenon known as a temporal discounting or delayed discounting. For example, it's easier to discount the value of attaining a good grade on an exam while that exam is still weeks away compared to when it's only days away, which is one of the reasons why people wait until right before the deadline to complete necessary tasks. Accordingly, people often display a present bias when they choose to engage in activities that reward them in the short term, at the expense of working on a task that would lead to better outcome for them in the long term. Note that the relationship between the time it takes to receive a reward and the perceived value of that reward is usually inconsistent as the rate of discounting decreases over time. 3. Absence of structure. The lack of imposed direction that's become common in the workplace might contribute to the increase in procrastination. The collapse of the delay between impulse and decision inevitably favors impulse. For example, checking Facebook instead of doing work. Our easy online access makes urges easy to gratify. One solution to this is to design your environment in a way that makes your desired goal more likely to happen. For example, if you tend to check your email or Facebook too often, make it difficult for yourself to connect to the internet. 4. Feeling overwhelmed. People sometimes procrastinate just because they feel overwhelmed with regard to the task that they need to handle. A feeling of overwhelm can occur due to a variety of reasons, such as having a single task that feels huge in terms of scope, or having a large number of small tasks that adds up. When this happens, a person might simply decide to avoid the tasks in question, or they might attempt to handle them, but then end up feeling paralyzed before those tasks are completed. For example, if you need to clean up your entire house, the fact that the task will take so long and involve so many parts might cause to feel overwhelmed, in which case you might avoid getting started on it in the first place. 5. Unpleasant task. The most significant predictor of procrastination is a task that considered unpleasant, boring, or interesting, like exercising. Ask yourself, how can you complete your unpleasant task on a time? One strategy is to divide and conquer. Shift your focus from the ultimate goal to a series of easy to complete, intermediate tasks. Another strategy is to form an if-then plan to automate goal striving. If I turn on the computer, I will first work on my assignment for 45 minutes. 6. Anxiety. People sometimes procrastinate because they feel anxious about a task that they need to handle. They may postpone getting started because of a fear of failure. For example, someone who feels anxious about checking their bills might repeatedly delay doing so. Even through this, avoidance won't make the problem go away. This issue can be especially problematic in cases where a person's anxiety increases as a result of their procrastination, which can lead to a feedback loop where someone feels anxious about a certain task, which causes them to procrastinate instead of doing it, and which makes them even more anxious, which in turn causes them to procrastinate even further. 7. Perfectionism. People sometimes procrastinate as a result of their perfectionism. Perfectionism can lead to procrastination in a number of ways, such as by making someone so afraid of making a mistake that they end up not taking any action at all, or by making someone so worried of publishing something with any flaws that they end up reworking their project indefinitely instead of releasing it when it's ready. For example, someone might delay working on their book because they want every line they write down to be perfect from the start, which causes them to not write anything at all. Similarly, someone who has finished writing their book might repeatedly delay sending it out for feedback because they want to make sure that it's absolutely flawless first, so they keep going over it again and again. 8. Self-confidence. When difficulties arise, people with weak self-confidence easily develop doubts about their ability to accomplish the task at hand, while those with strong beliefs are more likely to continue their efforts. When low self-confidence causes people to avoid activities, they miss opportunities to acquire new knowledge and skills. For example, a college student with a low sense of confidence for math might avoid enrollment in upper-level math courses. The decision not to enroll deprives the student of valuable skills development experiences. In contrast, good attainment may raise feeling of self-confidence, which can result in a person setting even more challenging goals. So now let's move to how to stop procrastination. 1. Break your work into little steps. Part of the reason why we procrastinate is because subconsciously we find the work too overwhelming for us. Break it down into little parts, then focus on one part at a time. If you still procrastinate on the task after breaking it down, then break it down even further. Soon, your task will be so simple that you will be thinking, "This is so simple that I might as well just do it now." 2. Prioritize tasks. Prioritizing your task can help you figure out which tasks you need to work on and when you need to work on them. This will ensure that you don't end up procrastinating by wasting time on trivial tasks while neglecting important ones, and will also help you avoid situations where you feel overwhelmed because you are not sure where to start or which tasks you should be working on. You can start using the Vili method. This method involves preparing a to-do list at the end of each day and writing down a list of 6 tasks that you want to complete tomorrow, ranked in order of importance. Also, you can use another method involves categorizing each task that you have based on whether it's important or unimportant and based on whether it's urgent or not urgent, and then prioritizing your tasks based on these criteria. 3. Establish a routine. Establishing a consistent daily, weekly, monthly routine can be helpful in getting you to avoid procrastinating. For example, you can set up a routine of doing creative work early in the morning before checking emails or social media, which is a good way to ensure that you start your day being productive and by completing your most important tasks while you still have a clear head. The routine that you establish should take your daily productive cycles into account, which means that different routines will work for different people. 4. Change your environment. Different environments have different impact on our productivity. Look at your work desk and your room. Do they make you want to work or do they make you want to snuggle and sleep? If it's the latter, you should look into changing your workspace. One thing to note is that an environment that makes us feel inspired before may lose its effect after a period of time. If that's the case, then it's time to change things around. 5. Create a detailed timeline with specific deadlines. Having just a deadline for your work is like an invitation to procrastinate. That's because we get the impression that we have time and keep pushing everything back until it's too late. Break down your project, then create an overall timeline with specific deadlines for each small task. This way, you know you have to finish its task by a certain date. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive all our news. If you learned something new today, then give the video a like and tell us in comments which step you like it more. And here's some others great videos I think you will enjoy. Just click on the left or on the right.